Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Horn, and I am the Assistant Director for New Student Programs. We are excited to welcome you all to our Falcon live chat today on equity and inclusion at Bentley. Throughout our presentation today, you are welcome to submit any questions that you have using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will cover approximately 15 to 20 minutes of content and then open it up to any questions that you may have. We'll also be recording this session, so you will be able to access this session at a later date. And if you happen to be watching the recording of this session, you can email us directly with any questions that you have, and we'll outline those email addresses later in the session. If there are any questions that you have asked and we are unable to answer them today, please feel free to reach out to us via email and we will work to get those answers to you. And now I'm going to hand it over to one of our student coordinators, Devin, who is going to help us with some introductions.
Hey, I'm Devin. I'm the student coordinator. I'm going into my junior year. I'm currently a finance major, but I am interested in orientation, and with us is the student equity team.
All right, thanks so much, Devin. My name is Christine Lookner. I am the Associate Dean of Student Equity and Inclusion. And Devin, if we could get started on the PowerPoint, I think that would be great. So I just want to welcome everyone here. Welcome you to Bentley. We're so glad you're going to be joining us. I have a team of colleagues here who are really going to do the bulk of the work in the presentation and showing you all of the different offerings that we have. But the four offices that are represented within Student Equity and Inclusion are our Gender and Sexuality Student Programs Office, our Spiritual Life Center, our Multicultural Center, and our Center for International Students and Scholars, which does its own separate webinar. So they're not represented today, but I am happy to answer questions on behalf of that team as well. So given that our office has, that our team has sort of different branches of services that we offer, we're hoping to get a sense, those of you who are in attendance today, we'd love to hear from you in the Q&A, just to get a sense of which topics are most interesting to you. Why are you at this webinar? Is there something particular you're hoping to learn from us? So I'm going to ask you all to put something into the Q&A, even if it's not a question, just to state the topics that you're most interested in learning, so that we can make sure that we get your questions answered and that we present the content that is going to be most relevant to those of you who are here with us today. So I'm just going to give that a minute for folks to enter into the Q&A. The topics that you are most interested in learning about. Yeah, thank you, Devin. That's helpful to see the people that will be presenting today so that folks can know what topics we're going to be able to feature. All right, I think what we'll do is we'll go on with the presentation. I'm going to have my colleague Dorothy start us off, but please do feel free to throw some of those topics or suggestions or questions into the chat throughout, and we'll be happy to address those as things come up. So at this point, I'm going to ask Dorothy Paulton to take over and make a brief presentation about our Gender and Sexuality Student Programs Office.
Thank you. And I just want to say welcome. We're so excited to have you, and it's so nice to meet you. My name is Dorothy Paulton. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the director of the Gender and Sexuality Student Programs Office. And I'm excited to share some more information about the office with you today. So as I said, my name is Dorothy Paulton, and I have a wonderful staff member, Nana Adu, who we're a great team, and we're putting on all these wonderful programs for you. So our mission in the Gender and Sexuality Student Programs Office, or GSSP, it's a little easier to say, is to really provide a welcoming and supportive environment for all students to engage with the topics of gender and sexuality. So we offer programs, educational programs, dialogues, campus-wide workshops. We also have a number of celebratory events that we also host to really create a more inclusive, informed, and compassionate community. So as you can see here, this is our Gender and Sexuality Student Lounge. We love our lounge. In this space, we're really want it to be a welcoming, inclusive space for students. We have a section for self-care where we have games and coloring books. We also have a whole library where folks can check books out, not just in the room, but you can take them back to your dorm room with you and on vacation. We have usually a bunch of stickers. This is where we have a lot of our fun welcome back events and other celebratory events. So we definitely hope that you come either not just for the events, but just come and hang out. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our student organizations. So the first of our signature programs is the Women's Leadership Program. This is a 4-year co-curricular program that really empowers women with the essential skills and real-world experiences to really give them the confidence they need to advance into leadership in the workplace. So we have workshops on unconscious bias, confidence, negotiations, and we also do things like corporate visits and mentor circles. So we have about 300 students in this program. We also have Pride, our people respecting individuality and diversity through education. So this is a really wonderful group under our office that provides support, education, and social activities for the Bentley LGBTQ+ community and allies. So some programs we partner with Pride on are the Pride Mentor Program, our Pride Open Forums. They have a really fun drag bingo every fall. They're also going to P-Town this fall as well. And we're doing Trans Awareness Week. We have lots of fun things going on, and I'm happy to share more with you if you want to reach out. We have students advocating for gender equality. Again, another really wonderful group that promotes personal growth and development and empowerment of women through open dialogue. And this is open for all genders. We have programs that include pizza rolls, not gender roles, I Heart the Female Orgasm. They do a period drive where they collect sanitary napkins. So it's a really wonderful organization. And being part of that organization, you also get to kind of determine which events you want to focus on each year. So it's a really wonderful group. Another really great group is our Bentley Women's Network. This group really builds and utilizes an established network of women professionals so that when you graduate Bentley, you will have a network already of professionals in the workplace. As you can see here, we're pictured doing pumpkin painting. We also did cookie decorating, but they also hold a conference every year around a certain topic. We've done confidence, we've done unconscious bias, talking about inviting other professionals to come back and talk about these topics so that not only will you gain your network and build your network, you will learn more about confidence and really prepare you for the workplace. We also have an annual Menace Allies Summit. So this summit is a group of student men interested in learning more about equity issues. What we do is we invite senior executive men to come in and talk about what allyship looks like in the workplace and why male allyship is so important. This event is open to all genders and it's really interactive, and it's also another great way to build your network and really important to becoming a leader. So again, please connect with us. My name is Dorothy. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Please reach out, email, and we'd be happy to answer any other questions either now or later. Thank you. Oh, sorry. And I would love to pass it off to my wonderful colleague, Robin Olsen.
Thanks, Dorothy. My name is Robin Olsen, and I am the Director of Spiritual Life. And following Dorothy, I just have to say there's no place like home There's no place like home. And really what we do in all of our work in SEI and me specifically in spiritual life is to find a place of your deep belonging where you'll find your home on the Bentley campus. And here is a photo of our professional staff. So I am a United Methodist pastor, and we also have our Jewish rabbi, our Jewish chaplain. Rabbi Faust comes from the conservative tradition, and Father Ted Brown, our Catholic chaplain from the Missionaries of La Salette. And Reverend Ian Meverick is our interfaith engagement coordinator, and he comes from the Baptist tradition. And I mentioned the traditions that we all come from because we're rooted in our own identities and also so open to everyone, any tradition or practice who people come to our center, religious or not. So those are our core folks. And our mission is to support the spiritual growth and the well-being of our Bentley community. And we feel that we do that best through creative and compelling practices that are relevant for Gen Z folks. And we have all sorts of creative ways that we engage in reflection. And that can be very often for students who don't identify with any particular religious tradition. And then we have a focus on interfaith engagement with particular consideration for what it might mean to be equipped in a global workplace, to have some interfaith competencies and literacies. And here are a few pictures of the sacred space, which is in the Student Center, the top floor of the Student Center. And there's two rooms, and the room you see on the right hand is one giant room. When we have our walls open, we can divide it into two spaces. And the sacred space is used quite actively, enthusiastically all through the week, all into the evening late hours as well, by several different groups, and then individuals who will come in. Here you see this has become a great place for musicians. We just got a brand new digital piano, and we have about 20 students who have found their Bentley connections and their friend group from coming into the sacred space and playing the piano. So it's an organic, very student-centered place. Everything has been handmade by students and decorated by students, and it's representative of the demographics of our campus. We have several student groups who are supported through our center. The largest is the Bentley Catholic Association. That's our largest group on campus. And our Hillel is a Jewish organization, also very active. Crew Bentley and the S, that's a symphony church. Those are evangelical Protestant ministries that are on campus. Our Muslim Student Association is very active and creative and eager to resume in the fall. And our Interfaith Allyship is a student group of leaders who are learning about religious literacy and learning strategies for deep dialogue across differences. And I included the Interfaith America. That's a national organization that we partner with. And we're sending 7 people from 5 students and 2 staff members to Chicago for an interfaith summit in August. And they'll be meeting with hundreds of other undergraduate students to see how they can make an impact. And here is an overview and a little bit more specifics of our faith-based programs. And I won't read all of the information, but give you an overview. And actually in the picture in the top left is that is one of our Seders with our Hillel group. And on the right, we are celebrating Father Ted's birthday this May at one of our retreats. And in the bottom shows the Zafus and Zabutons, which are for our meditation, which is weekly, and then some prayer rugs for our Muslim community. So every Sunday night, while we're in session, the sacred space is packed with students attending Catholic Mass, which is at 7 o'clock in the evening. And we have an ensemble of 9 students who play all sorts of instruments and are vocalists. It's a growing and really fun group on Sunday nights. And then on Friday nights, we join in the sacred space for Kabbalat Shabbat. And this year we'll be having a kosher dinner in the space with a short service every single Friday night. And our Muslim group gathers Fridays at 1 in the sacred space. And we also have a wudu room for ablutions and a leader for our Juma. Wednesdays, as I mentioned, we have a mindfulness meditation group. And this one is most popular with sort of spiritual but not religious students, and also many of our South Asian students who are coming from deep meditation practices really enjoy that. And then several options for our Protestant students, Bible studies, worship services, off-campus retreats. And our Hindu students, we usually work in a close collaboration with our student group called SASA, South Asian Student Association. And we will visit, in the photo, we're visiting a student at her home temple nearby as we were celebrating Diwali. And on the upper left is a student who's a rising sophomore. He's Sikh, and we went to his Gurdwara with a whole group of interfaith folks. So we visit Buddhist temples, and we don't have an on-campus faith community because they're smaller in number, but we are so thrilled to rely on our greater community to support our students. And some of our signature programs are here. I also, you might tell I love photos and stories, so I'll tell you again about this picture. Very proud of this, the only stained glass that's on the Bentley campus, and it was made by our students. It's in the sacred space. And that was one of our art and soul projects. We find that students may not have a lot of places to express themselves in reflection and artistic endeavors. So we do a lot of that and find that's a place to get to know people and to advance our mission of knowing ourselves and in deep connection with people who are different from us to learn about them. We have study retreats once a semester that are on campus, and they're in the sacred space, and those sell out. They're free, but you need to sign up for them, and those sell out just immediately, and they're very, very popular. You get lots of good food, and the outcomes that we have for academic success and spiritual formation are so rewarding. They're wonderful events. This fall, we are going to have an off-campus women's empowerment retreat, which is the first one that we will be doing. That's in following a theme that we're having of women's empowerment for this particular calendar year as we pick a focus each year. That's part of our social justice action plan. And then a really big one that I will mention that it is the last one. I mark your calendars for March 3rd, 2023, when we will be packaging 15,000 meals for food insecure neighbors. And that requires fundraising and collaboration from all over campus. It's really fun. And you're welcome to contact us. The students mostly will follow us on Instagram. We also have Facebook and Twitter, but I'd suggest you go to Instagram and you can see a lot of past events. And then there's our email to contact us. And again, I follow Dorothy by saying welcome. We're so glad that you are joining us as a new Falcon in our community.
Thank you, Robin. My name is Vania
Yeah,
Pereira.
thank you.
My name is Vania Pereira. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Multicultural Center. And I work alongside with Michael McCorvey, who's a director, and Claudette Blah, who's another assistant director. So our mission and values in the Multicultural Center. Our mission is to embrace all students while working with and on behalf of students of color to advance practices of equity, justice, and belonging within the Bentley University community. Through identity development, we offer a lens of multiculturalism, which allows students to understand their own experiences and those of others. We accomplish this by providing support, advocacy, and care for students through program and brave spaces to engage in dialogue. Through collaboration with campus partners, the Multicultural Center provides focus on cultural awareness, educational, and social programming that enriches and challenges our students on issues of multiculturalism while celebrating their growth. I know that was a mouthful, but pretty much what we do is provide spaces for our students of color to come as they are and find their identity in whichever that means. And also, at the intersection level, right? What does it mean to be a woman of color? What does it mean to be a Black woman in particular? And we do this very early on through one of our programs right before orientation, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And we do this throughout the 4 years. And our values are support, educate, collaborate, and celebrate. So one of our signature programs, which I have the privilege to oversee, is the Mosaic Experience program. So the Mosaic Experience is a pre-orientation for students of color. And it happens for 3 days right before students go, first-year students and transfer students go into orientation. These are some pictures of students that actually all graduated. When they come into Mosaic, you kind of find your niche. Sometimes you find your roommate, sometimes you find your best friends. But pretty much students are put in smaller groups in which they have mentors, which they're called Mosaic ambassadors, and you will spend the time with your group as well as your Mosaic ambassadors throughout the 3 days. And those 3 days are filled with meeting faculty and staff of color. This year, I'm making it more fun. So there's going to be some relay races going on. A lot of students love competitiveness, so we will see more of that. But there will be time to do identity talks and identity conversations, a lot of resource guides. So you will get to meet campus partners, different offices and services that Bentley provides. So Mosaic is just a time for you all pretty much to get all students of color onto campus before everyone comes in, and so that you're getting to know the campus and the culture of campus. Our other program, sorry, Devin, can you go back? Yeah, our other program is peer-to-peer, who my colleague Claudette overseas. So anyone can apply to peer-to-peer, and pretty much what happens is our senior students kind of create their own groups in a way. and the student will be paired. Our first year and sophomores will be paired with a junior or senior, and that pairing honestly varies, and it is up to you to decide. So some of that pairing is based on religion interest, some of that pairing is based on major and minor, some of that pairing is based on race and ethnicity, but pretty much it's another support system for the students from the students themselves. So someone as a junior or senior that have gone through 2 years, or maybe if or a transfer student a year or so of their Bentley experience. So everything that they have learned and the ways in which they have navigated the Bentley community, they will put those wisdom on and teach those wisdom on to our incoming student. So that's peer-to-peer. If you were to join Mosaic, we talk more about peer-to-peer, but even if you don't, that is okay. There's still time to apply. Applications actually close this Friday, but we always extend it to students who miss it. And then our other signature program that we provide is our conversations. It used to be our conversation Fridays, and then we just kind of changed the dates based on whichever is available. But for example, we go based off what is happening within our community. And when I say community, I'm talking about our Bentley community, our community as a whole, whether that's the US or what is happening in the world. So an example that I would give is about almost 3 years now, during the murder of the George Floyd, a lot of our students of color, in particular our Black students, were in distress, and they needed a time and a space to kind of talk and dissect what had happened, understanding that this was during the summer and our students are not here. So we created a space at the time virtually for our students to discuss. So conversations Fridays, not so much Fridays. Usually what happens, we typically invite different faculty and staff that are savvy enough in these topics to come and facilitate the conversation. Another signature program. So we have 2 affinity groups that fall under the Multicultural Center, one being Mankind Movement, which is for our men of color, and the other one being Coming Full Circle, which is for our women of color. These 2 affinity groups fall under the Multicultural Center. They are advised and sponsored from the Multicultural Center. And it's pretty much a time for all women of color, all men of color to come together and just talk about issues that are pertaining to them. They meet once a week, and sometimes they do collaborate. We have a yearly retreat every year that happens historically in the fall. So that will happen sometime in October. So if you're interested, please let us know. One will have to be a part of the group and attend meetings to be able to attend the retreat. But pretty much the men group, they go to Vermont and they have a house and they do all things men related. And the women, we go to New Hampshire and we also in a house and we do all things woman related. We cook together. We talk about, different issues that we face as women of color in today's world. And it is such a great retreat. I experienced it for the first time this past spring, and it was just like a great time. So it is a popular thing. Space is limited. However, we're trying to have the retreat closer to campus so that we're able to find a bigger space to accommodate more students. And that's the CFC logo actually changed. They felt that this logo kind of became a little too elementary, so they changed the logo. However, the old logo is now a tattoo of the new logo. But we'll see it. And MKM's logo kind of stayed the same. Multicultural Center virtual drop-in hours. We're actually changing the names of office hours to student hours because it is your time to come to us. But if you were to log in and to navigate, you will see there will be a list of people that says your success team. One of the Multicultural Center staff will appear. So one of us will be, and it's based on alpha split. So one of us will be your secondary academic advisor in addition to your academic advisor from academic services. And you are free to come to us about anything, whether that's class related, student activities related, pretty much anything. And our student hours will somewhat change. However, that will be shared right in the beginning of the semester with everyone. And thank you. And I will pass it over now to Christine.
Thanks, Vanya. I do have this slide in here because our CISS team is a part of our student equity and inclusion offices. As I mentioned, our advisors from that team are not with us today because they do a separate session specifically for international students who have a lot of very specific immigration related questions usually. But I am happy to answer if there are questions on behalf of that team. And I think actually now is a good time to open it up and take any questions from any of you that you may have questions, anything you want to ask about, anything that any of us presented. We would be happy to just answer questions that you might have. So I'll just give that a moment. And I believe it's the Q&A feature that you have access to be able to ask us questions.
I'd say for everybody on the recording or watching the recording, we are still taking questions online. If you want to email us, everybody will be checking their emails. We will be active. If you comment on the video, we might see it. I will check periodically, but it might be a much slower response time than if you find the email in the presentation and send them a note. That's probably the best way to go.
This might be a good time too. Do you have a slide with the orientation email on it that we could put up for folks, or how do you want to share that with everybody?
I believe Caroline might.
Yeah, we will put it up in just a second.
Great. Reaching out to the orientation email, we'll get a hold of anybody. They're happy to connect with any of us. You can also reach out to us directly or just explore our websites. We have a ton of information on there, and our team is here and always happy to answer questions or address any concerns you might have before you get here, when you get here, all the way through your time at Bentley. Awesome. Thank you, Caroline.
Yes, no problem. So here is the information to our Welcome Falcons Instagram. And so on this, you will find our website, so bentley.edu/orientation. We do also post a lot of various things. So we update on the Falcon live chats. We let students know when the newsletters are out and different things. So we will really be using this throughout the entire summer and during the program for students to stay connected with our team. And if you want to email us, our email is gaorientation@bentley.edu, and you'll be able to find that by clicking on the bentley.edu/orientation page as well. So a couple ways to stay connected with us throughout the summer. If you have any questions, you can direct message us on Instagram as well. One of our other student coordinators is monitoring that every day. So let us know if you think of anything after this session that you have questions about.
Just one last thing. This is getting posted on our YouTube channel. I think it's also still Welcome Falcons. And so if you check that out, it will be there right after this is done. So if you want to watch that, give us a shot. If there's any questions, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys for coming.